Well, we were first here 2 years ago in 2023, and I've known Mufi for a long time, and it's just incredible to be in such an intimate venue and to be able to have the people basically like right in your lap, you know, and the warm hospitality, I mean, look at where we are. This is incredible, right? So it's just great, you know, it's wonderful, yeah.
Soul-sized holes.
It's always going to be imperfect. There's no way I can be perfect. I'm not a natural performer. I'm not a great musician. All I have is the natural emotions. Without that, I have nothing to offer. And so if I can set up a situation where I can just be naturally in that zone, that's what works for me, and that's what's always worked for me, whether it's been the heavy music I grew up with. You know, punk rock gave me a license to just express myself without having to be a virtuoso type musician. I just had to have something to say, you know, and I had to mean it, and that's carried on into my solo work. Lately, a lot I've been thinking about how we even talk about it like that. The fact that we talk about nature as being something different from ourselves, someplace we go or something we experience or something we have to visit. We are nature. The problem, I think, in our minds, in our hearts, globally, in the world, of war and greed and suffering is all due to our disconnect from understanding that state. That we are, our minds are supposed to be wild. We are supposed to be the wilderness itself. We are made of the same stuff of earth, but we've forgotten that. So nature is not necessarily a thing I go to for inspiration. I mean, I live on 12 acres of forest, so I spend, every time I leave the door, I'm in nature, but I'm trying to, and mentally I'm there, I'm mentally behind it, but I want to know what it feels like to be a part of it. And there's people of European descent. We have 2,000 years of unlearning to find out what that means. That separation is built into our language, it's built into our daily life. So really it's trying to come to an understanding that we are the wilderness, we are nature, and processing the grief and the sorrow that I think we all feel, whether we know it or not. Whether people acknowledge it or not, there's an underlying sorrow and grief that is from that disconnection. I've always found that following the intuitive, following the gut, following the inspiration, and going down a sonic rabbit hole of a moment is always infinitely more powerful than some cerebral idea I might have had. You know, usually if I have some clever idea and I think, oh, that's something I should intellectually follow, it usually ends up like beating my head against a wall. Whereas if I surrender to the flow of the sound and I follow where it wants me to go, that's where I end up being productive. Small amounts of time get there really fast. I've set up a pretty busy life for myself. I don't have a lot of time to be creative, you know? So I try to make the most out of it. The only way that works is by intuitively letting the sound take me. I think in a lot of ways I use the same approach. I use intuition to try to meet the kids where they're at. Kind of using what I saw in education growing up of kids that fell through the cracks and didn't have teachers that saw them for who they were. Before it's teaching any subject, it's just letting them know that you love them, that you care, you know, and that they've got another adult in the world that gives a shit. Natural things come out, you know, we sing every day. I give them some punk rock life skills as far as we record CDs, and sometimes we'll make t-shirts or whatever, so they get a little DIY punk rock skills in there. When people talk about it, it does occur to me that it's important for them to see you can have a life in art and music without making a living from it. It doesn't have to be your job. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be a rock star. You just do it because you love it. And you follow your passion no matter what. And so they're used to seeing these TV shows with people auditioning on some show and they get famous, but that's not how the world works. So now I think they can see an example of, Mr. Von Til went to Holland for the weekend last week. That's pretty cool, but he's coming back and doing his work with us here next week. It's just a different view of art and music, which I think most people don't get. I like to get outside where we are. You know, I like to ski in the winter, just regular, just average downhill skiing just for fun, to connect. Like to get out on the kayaks on the lake in summer, spend time with my family traveling if we can. You know, my wife is from Germany, so we like to go back there. And I mean, music is a lot of it. I'm a music fan. I listen to a lot of music. I buy a lot of records, and walking the dogs every morning around the property.
Body devoured.
That goes back to kind of following the sonic rabbit hole. I've really been inspired by singing into these more complex soundscapes than before when I composed primarily on guitar. I've been primarily composing on piano or synthesizer. It pulls something different out of my voice. It really has forced me to become a more expressive singer, and to kind of get over some of my self-consciousness and my fear, and sing into it, you know, do what the song is compelling me to do. And right now, that's what's inspiring me. These rich soundscapes of cello and French horn and piano and synthesizer is really what I want to sing into right now.